Ready? Okay, here we go. Today is Monday, February 12th, 2024. The Board of Health meeting will commence at 6 o'clock. Can I get a roll call, please?
Gavin Byers.
And Chris Nocella. Jim is absent today. Additions,
Brown.
deletion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Addition or deletions? Carla, you said?
Rob Therian has sent in a request from the bylaw committee that he wants, Rick, I had sent you an email on
Yeah.
it, that he wants Rick to act as the noise agent for the
That's
town of
more,
Townsend.
that's more
So,
of the Board of, the, what's this guy that we don't have yet? The
Building inspector?
Building inspectors, usually the law enforcement officer.
Well, they're asking for Rick to be it specifically. so-
Don't think that Rick's qualified for that, are you, Rick?
So, I did talk to, who was it? Bill Cadigan about this a little bit.
Yeah.
So, he had come in and I guess they're writing a set of bylaws, that they're gonna try to pass at town meeting for noise specifically. So, we, as the Board of Health, enforce noise regulations already
Okay.
through the, state regulations, so it's called the, air pollution control regulations. And so, I believe it's the Board of Health, the building inspector, and possibly the fire department are all named as people that can enforce this particular set of regulations. But we are one. Occasionally we get complaints that we respond to. We don't have a noise meter, so Mass DEP Central Region, which is Worcester, has one that they loan out to all the boards of health in their region. And they also kind of act as a resource, so they'll join us on collecting information and helping us to do that. It doesn't come up way too much, but it is something that we do with state regs.
Okay, question for you. Is this an additional charge to the Board of Health?
Wouldn't, so, I mean, wouldn't really be me in name, it would be enforced by the Board of Health, which would be any of you, and then, me as the agent or whoever happened to be the agent at the time. So, I guess if you're asking if it's something that would add to the assessment from the SHOBA, no.
Okay,
Would it add to your responsibilities? Yeah, sure.
so that means that me and Gavin can put in for more money than what they're paying us now?
So is there gonna be training for that for the Board of Health members?
I suppose that's something that you could ask the planning board about if they would be willing to do something like that, but that wasn't anything that they talked with me about.
Well, I'm just curious on how Gavin or Jim or Chris are gonna be able to go do something like that where they are not you and they don't play one on TV.
Yeah,
Well, then they wouldn't do it. I mean, so any of the Board of Health members have the ability to enforce the regulations that they're charged with enforcing. It's just that I typically do it on a day-to-day basis. So it'll kind of be the same as always. They could get involved if they so chose to, or they happen to be the ones that were responding to it, but typically it would be me.
Okay.
oh, okay. And you're happy with that?
I will do whatever you guys ask me to do.
Next time you come in, bring a wallet full of 20s, kid. Well, that's something we'd like. We like tips. Excellent, I'm glad. Now, the other lady on the phone is part of this, or?
No, she's for.
Oh, she's for something else?
Item 1.4. So I
Okay.
believe what the planning board would probably, or the bylaw committee would want, would be a motion for you to adopt this.
Questions, Gavin?
So I guess
Go ahead, Rick.
I would put it in the minutes, but I don't know if you necessarily need a motion. So really, it's a courtesy because they're trying to write a bylaw that lists you as the enforcement agent. And I said, well, have you talked to the Board of Health about it? And they had said no. So I said, as a courtesy, you really should talk to them to make sure that they're in agreement that they're willing to enforce these regulations for you. So I don't know, you could make a motion and you could vote on it. It's not something that you would have to do. But if you mention it in the minutes and then obviously let them know, I think that would be appropriate.
I don't think I'm ready at this time to put that before a vote. I haven't seen anything about it. I would like to read what they're proposing, as opposed to just agreeing to something on hearsay. I mean, it's a very important job for this board to stay up to date with what's going on in town. If they want us to do more things, that's fine, as long as we get to see what we're actually doing. So at this time, I'm not gonna bring that up for a vote until they submit to us some papers or something that lets us know what their intent is, so that we can actually look and go, yeah, we can do this, or, I don't know, that might be out of our league, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Gavin, do you have any questions?
No
Okay.
question. Continue to the 26th?
Yes, please. And hopefully, if you could get a hold of Beth and see if they can get us a copy or something to look at, that would be great.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to 1.3, 8 Bow Street.
That is continued, abutters were not notified. So it's
Okay, so
continued to the
let's go to
26th.
27 West Elm, Apartment 1 Housing Inspection Hearing.
And that is why Heidi is on the phone
Oh,
here
okay.
today.
Heidi, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, you have the floor.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. Do I what?
You have the floor.
You want? Why don't I'll give
Well,
some kind of background first, and then Heidi could come in and tell you guys
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
why she's here tonight. So, this is a rental property. She has somebody who's renting it from her, and they had called the Board of Health requesting an inspection of the unit that she lives in. So there's several units on the property. This is apartment number 1 at 27 West Elm Street. And so, I gave Carla a copy. I'm not sure if you have it in front of you. But the front page is kind of the standard language that explains that they have 30 days to repair the majority of the violations. Some of them are considered 24-hour violations, and they're marked on the inspection report and the violations list. And then that Heidi has the ability to request hearing within 7 days of receipt of the order. So she exercised that right, and that's ultimately why we're here tonight.
Okay.
But if you've got the letter, it lists all of the violations that were found as a result of the inspection. And I know Heidi and I have spoken a couple of times. She's hired someone to act as like a property manager to address these. So I'll let her take over and let you know why she's here tonight.
Yes, mainly, I did hire someone, his name is Adrian Oliveira. He's licensed and insured. I do have copies of that. And he wanted to go to the apartment to check everything out that he was going to fix. And Heather had canceled on him. But he did finally get in there, and there was, he didn't think a lot of these issues were as bad as he thought. I don't know. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not downplaying it. Don't get me wrong. But she knows her lease is up at the end of March, and I had a tenant move out because of her, and she doesn't get along with my other tenant. None of them get along, and they're screaming and fighting. They're calling the cops, and I'm not saying that grasping at straws. It's an old house. I know that there's work that needs to be done, but I think some of this is emotion, knowing that I really don't. A lot of my tenants aren't even paying rent. She didn't pay rent this month, and I get it. She's frustrated or whatever. But a lot of the tenants up there aren't paying, and so it's frustrating because I'm doing the best I can to renovate. And Rick, I know you went through the back apartment that I put $12,000 into the bathroom. The front steps were another $6,000. I had a roof on another property, so. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done. So I do have a question on this list. Fourth from the bottom, it says, hang on, I get glasses on. Fourth from the bottom, it says, water coming through roof and in attic space, second level, mold and moisture. So I called a mold company called Mold Spotters, They came out, I spent $650 for them to do an inspection, and it came back, and Rick, I emailed you the results on that, and it came back negative. And I didn't understand, Rick, your email back to me, and could you explain that to me? It said something about 105 CMR 410. I don't know what is. Maybe I need more in-depth, information, exactly what I'm being cited for or whatever.
So 105 CMR 410 is the minimum standards of fitness for human habitation. It's the code that the inspection was based on. And so if you go onto the state's website, and I can email it to you when we get off the meeting as well, but there's a section that's specific to this, what the code refers to as chronic dampness. Mold is a part of that, but it talks about having like a mold inspection service and mold remediation companies come through, and essentially what the code says is that occasionally people will have these type of inspections done where the companies come in and they take air quality measurements and try to find a control to compare them against, but at the end of the day, the state has no standards for mold. There's no federal standards for mold, and the report really doesn't say much as far as 105 CMR 410, which is the regulations we're looking at. I did look through it, and it's not the most comprehensive report I've ever seen, but at least the part that I did look at was they took the control outside, which is pretty typical, but then they took, as far as I can tell, just one air sample that was kind of, it looks like on the first floor just outside of the kitchen. And so it wasn't necessarily in the area that I saw the mold. It was in that second floor attic space. And when I was there, it wasn't actually raining outside, but it had rained, I think even earlier in that day. And there was actually water dripping from the roofing nails and dropping into that space. And so what our code says is that you can't have any areas that are subject to that chronic dampness. And so typically if you take away your water, then you will get rid of the mold because it needs water to be able to live. But the bigger issue is just kind of eliminating that infiltration in through the roof in that particular space. So
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was issues with the flashing against the building where that roof starts, and then the roof is probably seemed like it's probably past its life, and the water, like I said, was coming down the nails and dripping onto the ground in that area.
Okay, so I put a call into Golden Group Roofing, and they gave me a quote. They did some other roof work on that house, and they gave me a quote. I just felt like I need to get a second quote because, just to see what exactly they're going to do and what someone else could do and how much they could charge. So I'm just waiting to hear back about that. I noticed it says paint chipping from exterior trim and window sashes. Okay, that I can't fix until spring, right?
Yeah.
Okay, owner does not provide receptacles for trash. So I called today and said there were a trash can, there was a recycling trash can, there was a regular trash can, and I don't know where they went. Apparently, did the tenant complain to you, Rick, that I don't provide that or something?
Yeah, so the town provides the collection, so that part's covered because they have municipal trash pickup. But the code still says that the owner's supposed to supply the receptacles to put the trash in, and they've got to be covered and rodent-proof, weatherproof. And so I had just asked her, are these your barrels, or could your landlord provide them? And she had said that they were hers. So that's where that came from.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait and hear from Shaw's tomorrow or the next day, whenever, and I have to purchase two, the trash, the 64-gallon trash and the 64-gallon recycle from Shaw's, 25 each, right? and then they'll deliver it to the tenant. So that will be taken.
It's not 25, I believe it's 75 apiece. And
Oh,
I will
yeah,
have to
75.
confirm that with them.
25?
It's okay.
I meant to say 75 each.
Yeah, I'd buy one.
Okay, what else? Cracking on the wooden ceilings throughout. This guy, Adrian, he quoted me, and now he's calling Heather to get in there and fix the cracking. Do you think I should wait and fix that, the walls and ceilings cracking after I have the roof done?
That's what I would do. I mean, I couldn't get up on that third level, but based on what I did see, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a water issue that's gonna just ruin the work that you do if you don't take care of the roof first.
All right, well, let me tell you what the roofing company told me. They said on that area of the roof, they can, there's 4 skylights. They can take the skylights out, put new ones in. Oh my gosh, I forget how much it was gonna be. It was over $1,250 each skylight, so times 4. And then he said, I go, what are my other options? And I go, because nobody's
Take 'em
up
off.
there. That's just like an attic storage space.
Just take them off and fill the holes with plywood now.
And we could take the skylights out,
Yeah, I
put
would.
wood down, re-shingle it, and I'm like, yes, let's do that. That way I won't have issues, in the future with leakage or coming through skylights or whatever. So they're working that up, and I'm just waiting to hear back from another person. So what else? Water damage bagging.
Can I interrupt
Okay,
you
so-
for, Heidi, this is Gavin, can I interrupt you just for a second, if you don't mind?
Absolutely.
Hey, Rick, what's the crux of the issue here?
So, I don't really know. We get calls from occupants for various reasons. Some of them are because there's legitimate issues with the house. I don't think there would be many houses that I would go through and not find some sort of a violation. We tend to just get stuck in the middle of
Oh, it's too hot.
between landlords and tenants.
Right.
For a various number of reasons. But ultimately, we did the inspection, we found multiple
That's what I was
violations,
looking for.
and so now the issue is that they've got to get corrected at least to that minimum standard that the code requires, and go and re-inspect it. And at least when I had talked to Heidi last, there wasn't much of a question of whether these violations existed, but more the amount of time that she's allowed to take care of them.
Yes, because it's very hard to get people, to, first of all, call you back because they're busy. They have other jobs.
Hang on,
they're doing.
Heidi, hang on just a
And
second.
then-
Heidi, excuse me, I'm sorry, can
Yeah.
we let Rick finish, please? And then we'll get to that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
but I mean, that's pretty much
Okay,
all
so,
that I had, unless I just didn't answer your question.
yep, so let me just make sure that I'm understanding exactly what's going on. The tenant had issues with the condition of the unit, and that initiated your inspection. And then,
Yeah.
and then this report is the list of items that need to be repaired.
Yes.
Correct.
Now, what needs to happen to get these items repaired in relationship to the tenant? And Rick, that's a question, yeah, for you.
So they're a little bit, even though they are related, because obviously she's in there. Ultimately, our concern isn't with her being the occupant or somebody else coming in and being the occupant. It's the unit itself. And so kind of whatever they may be dealing with as far as the end of the lease or anything like that is really outside of our purview. Just getting these violations corrected. And so the code essentially says that if the Board of Health is contacted and requested to do an inspection, we're obligated to do so. And then an order has to be generated and sent out to the owner based on the results of the inspection. And so the majority of these, you're allowed 30 days from the date that you sign for the certified mail to correct them. And like I said, I think that the issue is that Heidi lives in Florida. She's trying to coordinate this with all the different contractors that she has to involve. and that's the 30 days that's allowed by the code just isn't something that at this point seems like it's going to be feasible. And so the code allows this hearing for her to come in front of the board and either tell you what violations she disagrees with, or why she thinks that she's not going to be able to do what we've asked of her. And then the board can take the opportunity to either uphold the order, which would mean that it's not revised in any way, to modify it, which may be removing items that are violations. It might be modifying the timeline that the code allows. And then the last one would be to withdraw it completely. So basically just get rid of the whole thing, because she was able to present enough evidence to the board to do so.
Okay.
So I think that the biggest issue here is really the timeline, the 30 days.
Okay.
Right.
Heidi, are there any items on this list of things that need to be fixed that you are in disagreement of?
No.
Okay,
I mean,
so,
I trust you guys. I mean, like I said, I live down here. I have no eyes up there, so.
okay, that's,
You know, for
no,
you guys
that's
to come in
fine.
and tell me what's wrong. I agree. I'm trying to fix it, and they have to call her and coordinate with her schedule. And I get that. They're trying to get in. She's trying to let them in. I'm trying to coordinate who's going there and fixing it. That's all.
Okay.
I don't know how this can be done in 30 days from the day I got this letter.
No,
You know what I mean?
yep.
It's not possible.
Okay, hang on just a minute. So we understand that
Okay.
the crux of that issue. The price and the cost of items that need to be repaired is really irrelevant from our point of view, because you own a rental building, and that's what comes with owning a rental property. The fact that you're in Florida, albeit makes things difficult, and I at least am willing to work with listening to that and understanding that, as I'm sure the rest of the board would be. But our concern is going to be first and foremost the health and safety of the tenants. And so we're gonna try to work with everybody to make sure that, number one, everything is safe, and you're doing your responsibility, number two. So,
Okay.
we're gonna work with you the best we can, as long as we feel like you're doing everything you can. And from my point of view, you're doing everything you can up to this point, so,
I have everything documented. I mean,
Sure, that's-
as far as like
that's
if
fine.
they didn't answer. Originally, before this mold spotter company, I called ServPro, and I hadn't heard back from them. And I called them and I said, "Hey, whatever happened with my tenant?" And they said, "We've called them. They haven't called us back." And I said, "Can you send me an email in regards to that?" And they did. So I have everything documented,
okay.
and I will from here on in.
Heidi, how much time do you think you need to get these done?
How much time do I need?
Yeah,
It depends on these people, like, right, here's one, it says large bulk.
Hang on, Heidi, time
hang on.
out. We don't wanna
Okay,
extend
but
the meeting.
I don't know when the electrician can get there. I mean,
Okay.
paint chipping.
Hang on, time out.
When is-
Please, Heidi,
when am I gonna paint the
Heidi.
trim?
Heidi,
Please. We don't wanna extend the meeting by going over details of a form that we don't need to go
No, I
over,
get it.
okay? Hang on just a
How do I
second, just
know what's
listen.
gonna- Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, I'm sorry, but thank you. Ma'am, are you the tenant?
Yes,
Okay.
no.
Heidi, is the lease up at the end of March?
The end of March.
The end of March? And,
I was going to go to the Board of Health last year, and when I said that, she threatened to evict me.
That's
Okay.
not us.
hang on.
That's not us.
What's the intent on the lease, Heidi, from your point of view? Are you looking to renew
No,
this
It was
lease?
a one-year lease. It was a one-year lease, and no, I am not looking to re-sign it. No.
Okay,
I can't.
all right, ma'am, are you
I could
looking,
go on.
hang on,
Hang on,
Heidi.
Heidi, please.
Hang on, please.
We're looking to buy a house.
Mhm.
Okay,
We're not in a rush to leave because the house we were looking at fell through, so
okay. As of the end of March, what is your intent at this point?
I don't know right now.
Okay. Rick, in this situation, what is our,
I have a temporary restraining order
ma'am,
going through the court, so.
just
Hang
hang
on,
on.
please.
Rick, what's your interpretation of that situation where a lease is ending in 2 months or less? That the owner does not wish to renew the lease and the tenant is not looking to move.
So, we would really not get involved in that. That's for them to take care of with, attorneys and the court. And, it's not really within the purview of the Board of Health. So, as long as she is there, what we would be looking for from the tenant is that if Heidi or her contractor try to gain access to correct these violations and they provide her reasonable notice to do so, that she lets them in and that, Heidi continues to work on this list. And, any non-renewal of lease, eviction, anything like that is really outside of our purview. And even though it's obviously related because we're talking about the same situation, it's really not anything that we would deal with or that I think should influence the board's decision making, because it's not within our purview. Obviously, if the apartment became vacant and the violations were still being worked on, then the board can take that into consideration as far as extending the timeline farther and not allowing her to occupy it until everything's been taken care of and re-inspected. But generally, that would be outside of our purview.
I thought it would be easier to take care of all this, if it was empty also. And if it's so unsafe, then who would want to be there anyways?
Yeah.
Like,
Hang on, Heidi.
Heidi,
Hang on. Hey, Rick, how far away from being condemned is this unit, in your opinion?
I wouldn't say that would be a consideration.
Okay. So it sounds like, ma'am, what's your name?
Heather,
Heather? Heather and Heidi, it sounds like you guys are gonna need some sort of a mediator.
I've been letting these people
Mhm.
in. She's
Yeah.
lying about
that
that.
sounds like a great idea.
Well-
Like, she even sent a second roofer there today with literally a 5-minute notice, and I still let this man in when I was about to leave today.
So,
So, and that's the
Well,
second
this
time
is-
she's done this to me.
okay, well, this is,
So,
from our point of view, what it looks like is if you contact the Board of Health to look into problems, it doesn't look favorable when you complain when somebody comes to look at the problems, to fix them, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or a month.
I didn't
notice.
complain.
It-
I walked him and I showed
You
him
just
where-
said right now that,
No, I'm giving that as an example. Like, it was a 5-minute notice, and I still let him in.
okay,
Like, so
so,
she's saying that, like, I don't let these people in the house. It's like, I'm just saying that I do when I am there.
okay,
Because I work
so,
overnight, so I'm there pretty much all day.
all right. It sounds like you guys need to work on your relationship, because you both need each other at this point in time. And that's a crappy position to be in, and it doesn't help the situation to hear that sometimes. But realistically,
Right.
you guys both need each other right now, because it sounds like you need a place to live, and it sounds like she needs to take care of some business too.
But if I flew up there and stayed up there for a while, and I would be able to get in that apartment and handle this myself if I give her 24 hours notice. Is that correct?
I don't know what the laws are on
So
that.
reasonable notice isn't necessarily defined in our code. I would say that generally it's understood that it should be in writing and it should be at least 24 hours in advance. Sometimes that's not always the case, and if it wasn't what the other person considered reasonable, then they could deny any access as long as there were efforts made to get you or somebody else back in there. But as far as you doing the work, you could do any of the work that did not require a licensed contractor to do it. So any plumbing, electrical work, it would have to be done by a licensed contractor, but,
Oh,
anything
absolutely.
that,
I meant more of us, like, I would be the one to meet the, the electrician there, at the
Sure.
apartment, say, okay, this is what I need fixed. And then if she was working or whatever, I could handle it. I was just asking,
Yep.
I maybe have to ask an attorney that, if I can get into my own apartment.
So I would definitely talk to an attorney if you think that you need to, but generally what our code says is that if you gave her reasonable notice of that, then yes, she'd have to give you access to correct violations.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been very helpful. I do appreciate it, and I'm not the slumlord that some people are trying to make me out to be.
Let's
Quite frankly.
let's keep the slander and whatnot out of this, okay, please?
I know. I'm sorry. Okay. Is there anything else that you need from me?
Well, we have to determine pretty much what we're going to do as far as you trying to fix this place in 30 days. I honestly don't see that being able to be done due to weather,
Right.
the time of year. I'd be willing to give you 90 days. We'll have to see what
Okay.
Gavin thinks. I think
I
that's
think 90 days
reasonable
is
enough time to
reasonable.
get all your contractors together. Gavin, what do you think?
I think 90 days is fair in this situation. It would hinge, I would say, Miss Heather, on it. It's probably easier to get this place fixed after your lease is up and guys have moved out. It may get complicated, and it may end up in some sort of a lawsuit situation, it looks like to me, after that point. There may be some, are there any resources, Rick or Carla, that you guys know of for people in situations like this that would need to find tenancy somewhere else in town?
I do not.
Yeah, there are.
Do you know?
Yeah, so it's that community services. I forget her name though, but she's helped several people that we've dealt with find housing.
I don't think she's here anymore though, Rick.
Well,
Okay.
we're home shopping right now.
Yeah,
The thing
okay,
is, I mean, even if
okay, not to be
all right,
rude,
so
but
Heather's
can you
telling you that
just
she wants to
raise your
stay.
hand?
I don't
so that we
understand
can
how
get
she
you
thinks
into
she
the
could
meeting,
work it
please.
out. I mean, the neighbor that lives right next to her, I mean, they fight horribly.
Okay,
Okay,
Heather, please.
Heidi, yeah.
Heidi, I'm
Time out.
sorry.
I know, you don't want to hear all that.
No, that's not what we're here
All right,
for.
let it be a lawsuit, because I have more witnesses than she has.
It's not, that's not for us to decide either. Let's stick to the program.
I know.
Let's just stick to what we're supposed to do here. That's
all
all I wanna do.
I got it.
Heather, please.
Um,
Okay?
Okay.
All right,
So I
so,
understand, in 90 days is fair, and I'll work every day on getting, people.
You have to
maybe
continue,
work with me. Mhm.
you have to continue to try and update this as soon as possible. I don't want you to think you got 90 days that you can just wait 90 days. These are violations, someone does live there, and they do need to be taken care of.
can,
I've been taking care of them. I have a list a mile long to explain.
I'm just letting you know that if we give you the 90 days.
well, this is what I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
for, if
Okay,
you
go
don't
ahead,
mind.
please.
Right.
Rick, can we generate an update in 45 days, just to make sure that there's some
Yeah, so,
sort
I
of
mean-
progress?
I'd like to see
You
it in
guys can put
30.
any benchmarks along, that 90 days that you wanted to.
Do it
And so,
every
you
month,
wanted, and
just to
so
see what's going on.
The order was signed for on January 22nd. So, as of right now, that's kind of our starting date. So any extension should work off of that. But you could put any benchmarks along the way if you
What-
modified the order.
What was that date again?
The 22nd.
22nd? So,
January 22nd.
so why don't we do this? Why don't we, why don't we get an update on our March 18th meeting. That would be, that's roughly 30 days
Yep.
from now to our closest meeting. Can we get an update on that?
On the progress of
On the progress on the 18th. So Heidi, what I would say was, if you could give Rick an update on where you're at with
Okay.
getting these things
Yeah,
worked
I-
on, or at least, you
Oh,
know,
you're Heather, I get you
And
guys backwards.
Heidi, that may mean just lining up contractors for a future date as an example,
Right.
which would be acceptable. If you can come to an agreement with Ms. Heather on, hey, Mondays every week from this time to this time is when I'm going to try to have contractors lined up to come and inspect things and look at things and work on things. It might be easier than trying to communicate back and forth on a 24-hour notice. I'm just giving you that as an example.
Right.
So we're gonna look for
Right.
some updates on the 18th of March to make sure you're just making some progress on this.
Sounds good. Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, is she gonna be cooperative?
We don't-
Listen, please. Heidi, this is between you and her, nothing to do with us, please. Let's just stick to your violations, that's what we care about. We're gonna make a motion to give you 90 days. Every 30 days, I want to report that something's happening there, and you're not just blowing this off, waiting for her to move out, because that's unacceptable. Because she does live there, and these do need to be fixed.
Why would I do that? I wanna, if that happened, I would wanna re-rent it. I don't want an apartment just sitting there.
I understand that, but listen, please, we're just trying to do our job. Please, ma'am, we're just trying to do our job,
Okay.
all right? So you're all set, thank you. Gavin, do you want to make a motion
Thank you.
for,
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Heidi.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Rick, do we need a motion on that?
If we're gonna give
Yeah,
30 days to
Okay.
do.
Yeah,
Can I-
a motion.
Okay.
90 days.
Can I make a motion to continue this until March 18th? At which point,
So it would be,
go
it'd have
ahead.
to be a motion to modify the order.
Okay,
And so it would be like, I'd make a motion to modify the order to require an update from Heidi on the repairs by March 18th, and to finish all repairs and have it re-inspected and found to be in compliance by 90 days from January 22nd.
that's an awful lot for me to remember right now, Rick.
I got it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Do your best.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to modify the order to extend to 90 days with an update March 18th at our next Board of Health meeting to include the continuation and improvement of the items that Rick found as being negligent, or not negligent, but substandard.
At 27 West Elm
At
Street.
27 West Elm Street.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
I was watching you, Red Cal. I don't know why. All right, so that is
Before
taken
we
care
move
of.
on,
Yes.
do you have anything else to add to this?
I just got a picture if you guys wanna see it, but
Rick is an outstanding human being and does an excellent job.
I'm just saying,
And,
'cause she said a lot of things that aren't true, and it was just making my blood boil, so.
well, Rick is a consummate professional, and if he says things need to be fixed, they need to be fixed. And he's not going to say that they're okay until they're okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure they are fixed.
And
It's like, other than that, she's been, harassing us as well, like, with her personal life, so we're gonna have to go to court.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's something we can't help you with.
Yeah,
You know, that's way past us, so
yeah.
good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was just a little snippet
Yep,
how she was.
all right, thank you.
thank you for coming in.
Okay, so we move that up to 90 days from January, what was it, January 26th, Rick?
January
22nd.
22nd.
22nd, okay. All right, so let's move on to 50 Sonoro Road. Oh, this ought to be fun.
So you guys have the plan, right?
Yep, I'm gonna take a peek at it. I'm gonna come over
So,
here.
this is an existing camp on Vinton Pond. Right now, it's a small 3-bedroom. And so what they're proposing to do is at some point in the future, they'd like to put an addition on it. And so they are designing a system that's in full compliance to increase flow to 4 bedrooms. In order to do that, they do also have to drill a new well. So they've got the well proposed over by what they're calling the approximate propane tank location. That'll be the new well. And then the old well is right next to the existing house on the pond side. So that'll get decommissioned as part of this work. They're proposing a 1,500 gallon 2-compartment septic tank that'll go into a 1,000 gallon pump chamber, and then it will pump up to a Presby system is what they're proposing.
Yep, I see
And
that.
because it's an increase in flow, they're not asking for any variances, so it is in full compliance with Title V and with township's regulations.
Nice.
Yep, excellent. Proposed 1,000 gallon pump chamber. Did you say this is going to 3 bedrooms?
That's going 4.
It's going to 4 bedrooms.
So we
Right
actually.
now it is a 3.
See, that's not right.
No, it is, because they have a second tank.
No, that's the pump tank, that doesn't count. So you're looking at, Rick, for a 4-bedroom, you need the 2,500 gallon tank. Because your pump
Because they've
tank,
got the
but does your pump tank
Because they have
count?
the pump, because they have the pump chambers, how the regs read is, if it's if you have a pump, then the 1,000 gallon pump chamber can act as that second tank.
Very good.
The first tank has to be a dual compartment, so
Yep.
that section is
Okay.
in compliance.
Okay. Look, it's got a sauna. Ooh. Yeah. Okay.
Looks good.
It's good to me too. You get a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
Sonoro Road.
50 Sonora Road.
I'll make a motion to approve 50 Sonoro Road as drawn.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Excellent. Enjoy your sauna.
That too needs a lot of work.
I'm pretty sure most of the stuff up there probably does, from the stuff we've seen come in for new tanks and whatnot. But I'm glad you're putting a new well in.
Yeah,
Probably need-
thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was painless. Other septic reviews, we don't have any.
We do not have any.
Excellent. Housing update?
Rick, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is kind of following up on the discussion we had where the board wrote a letter to the board of selectmen asking, essentially, if we pursue these, do we have access to town council, if we have to file in court, figuring out how we would handle these if we don't get compliance just by sending out our orders and letters. And essentially the response that we got, and Carla, correct me if I'm wrong, was that the Board of Selectmen suggested that the board create a budget to deal with kind of the above and beyond town council, so the things like reasonable relocation costs
Ooh, so
that
we're
may
looking
come
at
along
around
with something like a
$50,000 a
condemnation, and having a budget to be able to deal with that. I don't think that they necessarily said we wouldn't have access to town council, but that we should send out our letters like we typically do, and I believe they said at least a couple of them, and then access to town council would be determined on a case-by-case basis.
That's nice. So basically, what they're telling us is, if they don't like what's happening, they're just gonna tell us we can't talk to town council? I don't think that's very good.
So yeah, I mean, obviously it costs money to go to town council. It's probably somewhere in the range of like $1,500 or so last I knew to
Yeah.
file in court. So they're obviously looking at it from a money standpoint, is do we have the budget to be able to use council to pursue these types of issues or not? And so I think, yeah, that was probably the answer that we were likely to get, was that, we could do what we could with the resources we have, which is, send the letters out, try to gain access for inspection, but that after that, we could present everything that we had done to the Board of Selectmen, and that they would make a determination as to whether we would have access to town council to, file in housing court and continue to pursue it through that avenue.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. They're basically putting hindrances on the Board of Health so we can't do our job to protect the public by denying us access to anything that we need to do to make this town and these people safe. I guess we're gonna have to try and get another meeting with them. I know they refused last time. I think they misunderstood, because we got a nice letter from the chairman that said he needed more information, which we wanted to meet with him so that we could give him information and see what they thought. That would be the Board of Health trying to work with other agencies in town, but it was determined that they didn't want to meet with us. So I think what we have to do is, maybe I can just meet with them as the chair and see if we can get some coordination with them so that they will work with us, instead of, just saying, we don't have the money, so everybody in town gets to do what they want, because we won't let you do your job to save $1,500. So that is my theory. Gavin, do you have anything?
No comment.
No comment, excellent. All right, so we'll move on from that, I guess, Rick. There's really, I don't see anything to do with it right now. I would like to wait till Jim comes back, which hopefully might be next meeting, and we'll see what he thinks. That way we get a full board to think about it, Gavin? Okay. All right. Rick, I think we're done with you, right? Tobacco regulations, yeah, I guess that's it, buddy, if you need to be somewhere.
Rick?
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay,
Okay.
RFP curbside trash and recycling contract.
It is all set to go. Final edits went back to Adam
Yep.
at your next meeting on the 26th. I believe that you would go to the town administrator at that time, and we'd start to advertise, because you're gonna need 2 weeks to advertise, and
That's
if you
correct.
want it to be
Yep.
on the 11th. So that will be the last time that,
Did you
You'll be
guys,
able to-
did you guys figure out, return dates for the bids?
25th
25th of
March.
March, okay.
Gives them 2 weeks, so it gives you a good 2 months to implement any changes that we might have,
All right, that sounds good.
okay?
Yeah.
Curbside trash and recycling is also postponed, if you didn't hear that, Gavin, yet,
I did.
for one day, and now we're only supposed to be getting 3 to 6 inches of snow.
I don't know, I don't think we're gonna get that much, to be honest with you.
I hope we get a foot, because I don't want to know where I'm supposed to be tomorrow.
Yeah,
So that's all we have for the curbside contract.
okay, that's good.
You have before you
Annual report.
the annual report. Did you get a chance to look at that, Gavin?
No,
This
but I'll
guy?
take a peek at it
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
If you have any changes and you want to think about it, I would entertain. I am going to be working from home. I'm pretty confident that the town hall is going to be closed tomorrow. I'm out of the office on the 13th, but I will be working remotely as much as possible, depending upon when this is due. I don't think it's due till probably the 1st of March.
Okay,
So it's not critical. I did try to change it up a little bit this year. Maybe it's something you'd wanna,
What? This says meetings are on Tuesdays, second and fourth Tuesdays at 6.
no, thank you. Well, there's
Yeah.
one, Monday.
Also, we made an error, I think I don't think we have a meeting on the 18th in March, now that I'm thinking about it.
Let me take a peek and
I
see
think
what I
that's
got
the
written
third,
down.
that's the third Monday, not the fourth. I
Oh.
think that needed to be changed to the 25th as an aside. So we made a motion to get an update on the 18th of March, and I
Yeah.
think we need to do it on the 25th.
Okay. So we're looking at the 11th for,
Yeah, or the 11th.
Yeah, because it's right here, next meeting's 2/26 and 3/11. So I will talk to Rick about seeing if we can change that to 3/11.
I'd say,
yes,
I would put it to the 25th.
yeah, that's,
3/25?
yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you're looking at the 22nd, so the 25th would be closer to the,
Okay.
no, technically 2
Okay.
months, but,
Okay.
They'll pick it up for $60?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cheap. Isn't it $100 to drop it off?
Well,
Yeah.
$50 a mattress, but
Yeah.
they do 55 and then they need the mattress bag, so it's 60.
yeah. For us, it's just the
50.
50.
Okay, so-
Note that we picked up a little less.
Compost bin, oh,
A lot of trash.
It's a less though.
It's less of recycling, it says.
And trash. 321 less tons, more trash. See, that's, okay,
That's what I'm confused with.
okay.
That's 250 tons of trash, which is 1,160 tons less of recycling and, yeah, and less, okay, so it's, yeah, okay. So we're definitely not recycling enough.
Well, we're not throwing away as much, period.
Yeah, I can see that. But that's good. That'll help in our bids, I think.
Okay, so the word more has to be taken out of there.
Sure isn't so. Yeah, well, that's actually in our contract too, that, they're supposed to monitor that. I mean, we can, if they can give us, addresses, we can send letters out to, people and remind them that.
They do,
Yeah,
they do.
They
I
do?
still,
Okay.
absolutely, I'm still working with the couch over on Dudley Road. It's been for months now.
Trash, yeah, okay. Holiday schedules. This is, oh, I was gonna say, Jesus, I'm reading the back page, or is this the front page?
It's the front.
And I was like, that's it? It's a whole other page with the back. Do you like the new sign? I saw you took pictures of it.
I love it.
Yeah, do you like where you put it?
Mhm.
They wanted it closer to the street, but they said it couldn't because,
You were as close to the street as you can get there.
well, yeah, we're close. But he said because he actually parked and looked while the guy was holding the sign. He goes, I can't go any further, you won't be able to see. I go, "All right, that's fine. Won't you increase them?"
The only thing that I wish is now I wish that the sign was red, because with the colors, it kind of blends in.
Yeah.
How many of these upgrades were commercial? And how many, can you break that out also?
I can, but I don't think any of them were commercial because usually I do. So I will,
I don't know.
Oh, it
That's
has
not
to
true.
be.
McNabb's was.
Yeah, the guy
Didn't-
behind, next to McNabb's was.
Aren't we talking about,
You had, well, that was, I don't know if that was last year or not,
I don't think, I mean, usually I put it, but I'll double check.
Yeah.
I will double
yeah,
check.
it'd just be interesting to see if, what that
Sally
breakout
Thurber, I
is.
think, was early last year.
Yeah, and then what about,
That's
the plaza there?
did they do one too?
I thought we did,
Upgrade on that one?
yeah,
Yeah, we did.
we did an upgrade on the plaza.
Over where Sophia's is?
Yeah.
I have those coming
Doesn't
in.
have anything else?
And, the vet,
Yeah,
Place next to
that's
McDonald's.
Sally. Yeah.
Sally's, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go in and check those out.
Hmm.
Boy, only 7 new construction, huh?
I know, I would,
I feel like there's. 30.
believe me, I do too, but last year was only 9, so it really hasn't gone down
That
that
huh?
much.
Is that the house that you were chasing the lady with all the animals, right? They built a new house there.
That's the condominium project.
Oh, that's a condominium. How many
Yes.
units are in there?
3.
That's a 3 age-restricted condominium.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure where the new office building is. Could that possibly be Sally's place?
The new office building?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to go into my.
One age restricted condo in a new office building. Oh, is that, wait a minute, is that, that's not a new office building though.
I'll get more detail on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it pleases the board, I will make those edits and I will send it to you guys. And if
Yeah.
you can reply back, just in case it's time
Yeah.
sensitive and we need to get it submitted.
You got it.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm assuming this is annual report, invoices, what's this?
That is just, I left you guys the Unitil little map. It just shows an overlay of what they're gonna be doing. I have 2 copies for you. It's, you don't usually have correspondence, but I thought it's something that you might wanna see. Your Shaw's bill is the annual bill, or annual, monthly bill. Carla, travel, says October through December, but it is, yeah, it actually.
Excuse me.
And Unitil, these are the only bills that we have.
Okay, and hang on to this one. Take a look at it. Okay, and this is your annual report. I'm gonna give you that, and this, I think. Yeah. Why don't you hang on to this one, just so we can have it, thank you.
There's the Lorden invoice. That's okay, what is that?
Thank
Just
you.
walk.
I was looking for that.
There it is.
Give it out to Gavin. I'll trade. Psh, coming back.
And I'll see it.
Solid waste operations. Oh, that's the trash. Fancy man.
Why are they using so much less electricity compared to last year? What were we doing last year? That's significant.
It's a good question.
Wow.
I'm gonna check that out.
Did we,
I'm gonna check that out.
I'm trying to think of what.
What were we
purpose of-
doing last year at the recycling center? Did we have the pumps running at all?
That I can't tell
At the
you.
lagoons? That's the only thing that I'm thinking is that the pumps, but it just,
Yeah.
they never operate. Were we testing them at that point to see if they were working?
We
I am
did have
gonna-
troubles with the pumps
I don't
last
think we
year,
did
but
that
I don't remember
In the winter
what,
time.
I
not
didn't
in the
think it was
winter
in the
though, that was
winter
the
either.
summer.
I will definitely check that out. Good call, Gavin, thank you. It seemed like it was comparable to the last, and I usually notice it if it jumps a lot, and it was 88 and 91
But
or
there's a
something.
carryover,
Right,
that's why it's
right,
the same, because there's an $85 carryover.
right, but that's what I'm saying, it's always around $88, so when I didn't see, there was no reason for me to look and see what it was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems obviously like, the winter time, it's no
I know,
lights and
there's,
stuff, but,
that's not, well,
No.
I'm not saying it's not right, but I'm definitely gonna be calling them to
Yeah.
talk to them about it.
well, I wanna see if we can look into taking those overhead lights and turn them into LEDs. That'll save us a couple bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, those things last forever anyway, right? LED lights, aren't they like good for 25 years or something?
No,
No.
they're supposed to be, but they're
No,
not.
they're not?
They don't last that long.
No.
They, they'll last 10,
Yeah,
but,
depending on use, I would think.
yeah.
I mean, that place doesn't get
Yeah.
used that much, so.
They've only been out for 5 years, so
Right.
how do they know they're gonna last 25 years? It's ridiculous.
It's called, private testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you simulate a light being on for 25 years?
I've got nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
Nothing. Wow.
They throw those things in and I'm just like, I don't trust your,
Canadian
Study.
26th.
Tobacco regulations are all set to go on the 26th, also
Really?
job performances. So
Yes,
I'll
you
send
have-
those again
yeah.
to you.
yeah.
Sean
just have a
Pearson
hard
has
copy?
already done, yes, I will bring you a hard copy and stuff, I
Yeah.
have it right now. Sean Pearson has already done Paul, so I will do Sean.
Yep.
Tyler's all set to go, he was appointed last week at the recycling, at the Board of Selectmen meeting, so he's already worked 2 hours for us.
He has?
He's up at the Selectmen's meeting.
Oh, that's right, yes.
I'm paying
Yeah.
him for that time, he was very, very nice,
Yeah, that's
stood
good.
out, went and
Mm.
shook their hands.
That's nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
Okay,
Yeah, very good. Very
Okay.
good. So he'll be at the next Saturday, he'll be there
He
for
will.
training?
Mhm.
Okay, I will not be
Okay.
there. I have previous engagement
Okay.
at the Big E.
The big E.
The Big E. It's the winter
Oh, yeah.
show, so I will be there. Future agenda items, next meeting, it says the 26th of February.
Mhm.
Okay, and then says the 11th, which is good, we can well, we don't need to put the what did we say, 28th, that one?
Yes,
We'll
Mhm.
put that on the next one, increase Board of Health
25th
permit fees.
should be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on those next meeting, I think.
Yep.
Getting that stuff in. Recycle center entrance update, what does that entail?
As we're always talking about the gate, now you wanna fix the
Yes.
gate.
No, I want a new gate,
Yes.
we will take a look at what we can come up with. We have to get some prices from different people, but I wanna put it through capital, because the town has never did anything for the recycle center, and I don't see this as a problem. I
Okay.
mean, capital things are always over $10,000, so I imagine this probably will be with the electric run for it and whatnot, so. I don't know if you can find 2 or 3, obviously at least 3.
Well, we have to find out what you want first, you guys have to decide,
Do we have to have it electric?
Mm.
that's what I'm
You
saying,
think so?
there's a whole,
I
you
know
got
it's
a
a-
lot of talk to do about that, but
Yeah.
are you gonna enclose the whole area, because,
No, I don't
There's-
wanna close the whole area,
well,
I
then they
just
could just
want,
walk around it.
well, if I put an 8-foot thing either side, they're not walking through the woods. People are way too lazy.
Okay.
You put an 8-foot wing on
And the
either
problem's
side,
been just,
people jumping the gate.
it's basically an imaginary gate.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, realistically,
Mhm.
it just keeps us out.
Yeah. Well, the reason
It
why.
keeps the big refrigerator trucks out.
I can tell you why I want an electric gate. We can set up numbers for each thing. Like for us, we'll say number 1. Highway can be number 2.
Yeah.
Cemetery can
So
be
then
number
with
3.
the
So
code,
we,
know who
yeah,
goes in.
we'll know who went in there.
Yeah.
We have cameras to see them.
Yeah.
Now we can look and say, that was on your code. Who did you give it to?
Okay.
Because, hey, I can show you pictures of last week. 2 people came in, opened the gates and went in. You know,
The
I don't know who-
still?
still.
Well, no, we know who one of them was.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
know who
know
one.
about the other one.
Well, the other one was you, dear.
Oh. And I waved in car seat
Yeah,
to the camera.
yes. Well, that doesn't catch that, but I was looking and I'm like, what the hell's gates open again? And I looked, it was you,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
You can go there anytime you like since you're.
Helping a special needs person who needed to dispose of something and only had a vehicle that was available at 8 a.m. one morning.
Thank you.
So I said, sure enough,
Congratulations.
I'll
Job
meet you there.
performance appraisal you're gonna get to us. Okay, so, with that said, can we get
I'll make a motion to close
Close.
the meeting at 7:06.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And have a good evening, everyone.